Recording in progress.
Yes, squad, good morning. So, contrary to some people's thoughts, that track actually says you give me free love, not freedom. Big line in it for me. No pun intended from the clubbing days. Did I really just say that on something that's going loud on YouTube? Oh, this is a great start to today's video. So it says, like a baby in her mother's arms, she guarantees me safe from harm. Forget about my foolish past, because I was born to love. You give me free love. We'll come on to why that's important at the end. So, a big point I want to start with today, and this is a bit of a scatterbrain training, but they always seem to be the best ones that are most well received. This was quite late last night. I was just dumping all this out. I was taking bits and bats out of check-ins. I was looking at things on social media. I was looking at what people are kind of where they're at, what they're struggling with, and what people seem to be doing that's holding them back, and journaled out solutions, not just for my own things, but for what I see in the world, what I'm seeing going on. So, one of the biggest things I want to go back to, because I still think this holds a lot of people back and triggers them. Other people's opinions are none of your business. Case closed. Okay? Other people's opinions are a reflection of their emotional intelligence, their level of consciousness, and where they are at life based on the experiences, the training, and the tools they've had up until that point. Likewise, I want you to know that that doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't make them less than you or I. You know, one of my favorite phrase from the army is, you know, never above you, never below you, always beside you. And this builds into talking about these aren't good or bad people. They aren't positive or negative people. How many times, if I had 0.004 pence, which is the same as Spotify give me for that play, for every time I've heard the phrases, how do I get rid of negative people? How do I get rid of negative thoughts? How do I deal with negative people? Then I would be a lot richer than I am through music. But the truth is, you don't have to. You can't get rid of negative thoughts. You can't get rid of negative people. You can't fix them, and you don't need to deal with them. The easiest way to deal with them is don't. But, you know, if someone has an opinion on me, cool. That's cool. That's their opinion. Is that true? No. What's the evidence? None. Is that reality? No. Is that going to impact my son's future in any way, shape, or form? No. So just let it go. It's just a reflection. If someone's getting angry or reacting at you, or, you know, saying things that are out of alignment with the way you want to be and the way you want to feel, then just allow them to be okay. But without a shadow of a doubt, I don't want any of you to be held back in life or not do the thing that you want to do that would lead to true happiness, joy, fulfillment, and everything in between, because very often you're afraid of what someone else's opinion of that action will be. It's built into last week. I didn't release songs because I were afraid of what... The song that went to number 2, I almost didn't release because I was afraid of what other people's opinions would be. Other people's opinions are none of your business. Stop allowing them to impact your life. And again, building into that, when we've very often don't, it's why we're going to talk lots about, greasy face, talk lots about love today. That's why that track was called Free Love. Because when we need to operate from fear, not love. We need to operate from love, not fear. Sorry, let's get it the right way around. And many people are still operating from a place of fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of being mocked, fear of being judged, fear of being laughed at, fear of failure, fear of other people's opinions, fear. And all the fear comes down to, we've said this again, fear and love, opposite. You know, fear and courage or fear and love. And most fear bottoms down to a fear of not being loved. I don't want to do this because if I do, the outcome won't get me the thing that I want. So Michael Jordan's greatest ever quote, most quoted quote probably, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So just take the shot, win or lose, fail, you don't fail. First attempt in learning. Okay, you learn, you get the lesson, you get the gift. So, after that intro, I told you this was going to be a little bit scatty, but that's the way I like it to be when this comes out this way, when I'm in flow. So, visualization. Again, I shared a post on, I reshared a post on Instagram when I was doing some journaling on Saturday of me being interviewed on TV at Rother Valley on the jetty by the water park. And on that post on my Instagram, don't know if any of you saw it, I'd re-quoted the TV man saying, Lee, you've just completed 200 miles. How does that feel? Now that is now in my notes to visualize that every day, but not just visualize it, to feel it. Like I asked you guys to feel your identity. We can't just write down, I am a courageous, driven father who impacts others and... We have to feel it. I'm a focused, driven leader who educates and empowers other people to live their best lives. Let's go. That is, you've got to have the emotion, you've got to feel it. And I have to feel, you guys will remember me doing this last year, I have to feel the emotion of that event, of that day. I have to channel it. And again, I almost was about to slip. Yeah, Luke, do you remember me trying not to swear on Channel 4? Please do not swear. They were like, I'm going to have a tangent now. This was the thing, right? 45 minutes before the interview, they were like, right, run a couple more laps. We are going to put the interview TV time back because we've decided we're not pre-recording it. We're going to do it live. And everyone's faces went, like, do they know him in any way, shape or form? This is the biggest danger. And then they were like, actually, there's about a 15-minute delay, so we can do it. But yeah, Luke, stop distracting me. Anyway, so feeling it and visualizing it is so important. And again, this eradicates fear and makes you feel comfortable. And the point that I was going to make then is I was again just about to apologize and say, sorry if it feels like I'm always talking about myself, but my story is the only one that I've got and what I like to show things for. Again, a fear just slipped into my head. Oh God, Lee, you're just talking about yourself again. Why would I even think that if I wasn't worried that you guys were thinking about it? What am I then thinking about? Your opinions, which eradicates what I just said at the start of the training, and I'm the person coaching it. So that's just such a real world example. It's so normal, right? And we have to keep snapping out of it. So I will have done several trips down in the car. I will have rehearsed the first 20, 30K, 3, 4, 5 times. I've visualized it. I'll visualize the end. I've done it. So I can start to get in touch and feel that. And that's what I want you guys to do with life. Like, that's what I want you guys to do with today, this week. How's today looking? How's this week looking? Is today planned? Is this week planned? Have you got a plan? Have you scheduled it? Have you got targets? Have you got outcomes? Have you visualized how you are going to feel when you do what you said you would versus how you're going to feel when you make dumbass excuses again as to why you didn't do what you said you would do? Which one, every step and action you take this week, again, be asking that question. Is this going to lead me closer towards my goals, or is this going to lead me further away? The answer to that question should dictate whether or not you take the action or not. And as well as looking at how today's looking, how this week's looking, how you plan, have you got it scheduled, have you got it visualized, you have to go back and remember gratitude, and love, as I said. Now, I've used this example, and Alfie's now going to become another example that I'll use time and time again now it's become public. I didn't want it public to start with. But he wakes up with gratitude every day. He wakes up with a smile on his face. He wakes up with strength, courage. He wakes up being present. The same as when I've talked so many times about Jason and the love that he gives out and the gratitude in spite of what's happened. Yet some of the negativity that's coming from some people and the stress and the worry and how stuck in the past they are, and quite honestly, and I won't apologize for this, getting really upset, stressed, angry and resentful about things that don't fucking matter, that aren't important. And that is one way to snap yourself out of it. Imagine being Alfie's dad. Think of what he has to deal with today. Imagine being Jason, what he has to deal with today. That you're having a major meltdown because your new kitchen cupboard's not been delivered by Amazon on time and it's not going to be here till Friday and they've delivered the wrong size and now it's the end of the world. I did it about moving house. So again, I'm calling myself out. But again, get clear on practicing this gratitude and this respect for yourself and this love and this, what am I grateful for today? 13 years I've been doing this after listening to Rhonda Byrne. Left foot out of bed, thank. Right foot out of bed, thank you. Right iPad, what am I grateful for? It doesn't just happen every day, guys, right? You're not just going to practice love and gratitude for 1, 2, 3, 7 days and all of a sudden be healed and fixed. But we have to get clear on these things today. How's today looking? How's the week looking? Are we grateful? Are we present? What's the plan? Because if not, we're just going to drift in. Some of you will be watching this now. Some of you will never watch it. Some of you will watch it later on in the week. Some of you will watch it distracted. Those of you who watch it and implement it will have a world-class week. Because you're going to look back on this now. If you're watching this on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even later, maybe tonight, you're going to go, oh, imagine if I'd have just listened to that this morning. Imagine if I'd showed up. Because if we haven't done these things, you're just going to drift into Monday with no plan. Scatty, confused, fighting fires, angry, reactive, distractive, focusing on negative people, afraid. Allowing other people's opinions to affect your day, not realizing that they are none of your business. And just have this attitude again. Many of you have said it this week, I'm just going to hope for the best. Hope is not a strategy. If you're relying on hope, good luck. So again, before we get into this next part of the training, let's go quickly through. We've done this many times. How was last week? Drop me a yes on replay, hashtag replay, in the comments on Zoom, on YouTube, whatever. It doesn't matter, so I can see it, so I can know you've watched it. Who's honestly fully reviewed last week? Who's reviewed their food for last week? Who's reviewed their training for last week? Who's reviewed their gratitude messages? By the way, I've just posted to upload the first session from Mindset Mastery Live. I've got all of the speeches, I'm uploading them to YouTube. And I've clicked upload on it before I've watched it, otherwise I know I won't upload it. So that's going to be live for you guys today as well. It's the Designing Your Dream Life training. Because if we haven't done all of these things, then again, we're leaving it to chance, aren't we? If we haven't reviewed the week, how do we know what to change this week? If we haven't planned the week, then we're never going to be disciplined because we don't have anything disciplined to. So again, the questions we can ask, what went well last week and what do I need to do more of? What didn't go so well and what do I need to do less of? What did I say I would do, which I didn't do? Which again will come down to your level of self-worth, value and integrity. Knowing what you know now, what are you going to do differently this week? Did last week's actions take you further away from your goals or closer towards your goals? Again, these are just, we've said, haven't we, questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Answering these questions is going to steer your week into successful or maybe not so successful. But we have to understand what doesn't get measured won't get managed. So if we're not measuring last week, how can we manage it? And I'll put my hand up, I haven't done this perfectly, but I've done it fairly well this week for once. But how many gratitude messages did we send? How many times did we practice the strategic confidence task that I will go through, that I go through in that Mindset Mastery video, of celebrating your 3 biggest wins of the day before you go to bed? Just those 2 things. How many people would go, yeah, 7 times out of 7, I listed my 3 wins before I went to bed and I did my morning journal. By the way, in the private Facebook group, Nat posts the morning journal every single morning, and she also posts the evening wins post every night. If you're doing it in your planner or you're not, fine. If you're on one of the lower level plans and you've only got the Facebook group, and again, you're not doing it, ask yourself why. Because I'm not going to embarrass people by going down the Facebook group now and looking at how many people did or didn't do it. And guess what? The people not doing it are the ones that are blaming, complaining and justifying, and going into this week fighting fires, scatty, confused, angry, reactive, because they didn't get themselves in the right place this morning. So, moving on. Reality doesn't create itself. Our reality doesn't create itself. We create it. And this is something that I listened to this week, and I thought, wow, I'm not a religious man, so feel free to call me out if I'm wrong on this. I don't think I am. I don't know how much proof there actually is. God didn't create man. Man created God. And I listened to that and I'm like, yeah, I think I agree with that. And then I related it back to that same thing. You know, other people and the world didn't create our reality, yet we very often think they did. Our parents, our teachers, our exes, our peers, and then we blame and complain and justify and make everything somebody else's fault why we are where we are. They didn't create our reality, we created it. And I think that ties in with God didn't create man, man created God. Which leads me back into the mission and purpose that we discussed again. So ask yourself again, why am I here? What's my mission? What's my purpose? What's my focus? What's my ikigai? What's my reason for being? What do I want to be remembered for? What do I want to tick off before I leave this world, which could be tomorrow? Because as I've said, I've found mine and I'm truly grateful for that. And that's the first thing I write down that I'm grateful for every day, aside from mine and Logan's health. It's to help as many people as I can live healthier, happier lives. The end of, that's it. That is my mission, that is my focus, that is my purpose. And I very much understand the process of if I help enough people get what they want, the universe is going to give me what we want. There are millions of people just focused on what they want and how to get it without ever thinking about how they are going to contribute to get it. And this comes from the first, going back to Napoleon Hill and the first, brighten that screen a bit. The first personal development books that were ever written were all about growth and contribution. You know, we don't get by getting and wanting and chasing. We receive after we have contributed, so to speak. So, you know, I can take then a million spins off of that. So it's to inspire people, it's to motivate people, it's to heal people, it's to prevent suicide, it's to help with depression, it's to help with health, longevity of life, it's so that kids get to see their parents grow up longer, so they can be, you know, I could spin off that, but I bring it right back down to that to keep it simple. You know, that is what I want to do. But part of this purpose in anything you are doing, in anything we are doing, in all of life, is we have to be growing and evolving. And we can match this up with nature. Again, whether it's nature, whether it's animals, whether it's trees, and all these things in between. Everything is either growing and evolving or it's dying. There is no maintenance. Maintenance has to be the biggest myth of all time, along with the fallacy of I'll be happy when. So what is the biggest purpose of life? This is crazy when I started researching it from these trainings. The biggest purpose of life is love, which is why I started with that song and planned it. But not just any form of love. You might start to think this is very wishy-washy, but to love unconditionally and constantly come from a place of love, which builds into what I said at the beginning. I love all people now, irrelevant of their opinions of me, because their opinions of me are none of my business. And as long as I continue to come from that place, nobody can hurt me. Everything in life works when you come from a place of love and positivity and energy. And that starts with filling yourself up first and loving yourself, as we have discussed. In order to live a life that you have, you need to love all people. Not spend half your day slagging them off, moaning, blaming and complaining, trying to prove why you're better than them, trying to prove why your version of the world is right, trying to prove why they're wrong, grabbing your knobhead friend and going for a walk to put the world to rights, because obviously your opinion of the world is right and everyone else is wrong, needing everyone else's opinion of the world to match up with yours in order for you to be okay. You can see how it's getting stressy and negative already. What if you just loved? What if you just loved everyone? If you just loved all experiences unconditionally? I don't care how you treat me or your opinions of me. I love you. And I've started to say this on social media posts now, and I get people trolling me and hating me. Thanks for commenting. Your hatred could never supersede my love for you. Guess what? None of them even reply, because they will be reading it and going, how do I challenge that? I've just said, I hope this guy has a heart attack and dies, and he's told me that he loves me. Irrelevant. You cannot fight it. It's the most powerful thing in the world, and it's understanding love and how to practice it that creates less fear. And when we create less fear, we will take more actions, because we're not afraid of the opinions of other people or the outcomes or how they're going to make us feel, or we're not doing the action in order to get love, because we've already got love from within. You can't be loving and hating at the same time. You can't be positive and negative at the same time. I've said this before, it's one of the most amazing things and also biggest things for people who are struggling about the human mind. You can't be grateful and moaning at the same time. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. You can't be present in the moment, living your life, and still be draining your own energy with something that happened 10 weeks ago, because you're still going on about it. You're still allowing it to affect your day. You still haven't let go. You can't do those same things. And as I said at the start, I go back to, there's another guy yesterday I've started following on Instagram. He's actually he's got an MBE. He's the Richard Whitehead. He's the patron of the charity Footprints that I'm doing the run for, which have very kindly reminded me that 200 miles is approximately 500,000 steps. And the charity's called Footprints. Anyway, he's double amputee, both legs off. And he broke the record for the London Marathon yesterday, 2 hours 42 minutes. The guy has 2 false legs. So again, I draw on this and I go back to it, whether it's him or Alfie or Jason. I just think, God, they're not stuck in the past. They're not blaming, moaning and complaining. They're just living life from a place of love and gratitude. And then we can't do this from a place of self-pity. We have to move from self-pity to self-love. And this can start from a place of pain and move forward. One of my other favourite quotes of all time, in G.I. Jane. Who remembers G.I. Jane with Demi Moore in it when she's the first? I think she's supposed to be the first female, isn't she, to go into the U.S. Navy SEALs. It's that famous line in it when she tells the main sergeant to suck her dick, which is really, really funny when you think of the irony of the situation. But she's being battered for, hammered down. And the quote in that film, he says to her, and again, if you're at the bottom and you're moving up, I think this will hit home with you. He says, do you know the best thing about pain is it reminds you that you're still alive. So if you are struggling with this and you're in a position of depression, anxiety, stress, addiction, overwhelm, however you're feeling today, I feel you. I understand it. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to go back there. It's not okay to live there. I do not like the phrase, it's okay not to be okay. Because for me, it just says, it's okay just to not be okay and stay as you are. For me, it's okay to feel that way, and for it to be a reminder that you're still alive and you're here to fight. So let's now put an action plan in place to move forwards. Let's not just surrender and stay there. That's what that phrase means to me, which is why I don't like it. And then the same quote is in that film. That is, I believe it is a famous D.H. Lawrence quote, but it's again the Sergeant Major says it, when like G.I. Jane in that, she's just like hard as F, isn't she? She's like doing the one-arm press-ups. She's insane, competing with all the men, smashing them into the middle of next week. He says, I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A frozen bird will fall dead from a bough without ever having felt sorry for itself. So again, it's the same thing. What is that? That's nature, that's birds. Like nature teaches us so many things, and going back into nature is constantly growing or evolving. And, another friend of mine last week, this was probably the best post of the week. I'm going to pull so many tangents here. This was probably the best post of the week for me on Facebook, right? My friend Lucy, she's got horses and she's got a farm, and she's taken this photo, and to be fair, I think she's probably got balls as big as G.I. Jane, because I crapped myself just looking at the photo. She's gone into her barn and there's a fox there like this, and it's still there, and it's looking really proud of itself because it's just ripped the head off of 8 of her chickens. She's not gone, fox! She's gone, oh my God, that fox is still there. She's taking a photo of it. I've put it in the group. And everyone on the thing is like, little bastards, fuck, can't believe he's still there. Can't believe he's done that. So sorry for you, so sorry this, so sorry that. Bearing in mind it's her chickens that have all just had their heads ripped off. She's like, guys, it's just part of the food chain. She's not angry. She took a photo of the fox. She didn't get a gun. She didn't try to shoot it. She didn't go on social media going, I can't believe these foxes have done this. She just like took a photo of the fox. It's just part of the food chain. And life is very similar. Like that fox has to eat to grow and evolve, to feed itself and feed its family. Granted, sometimes they are little sods and they just do it for fun. They don't even eat the chickens. They just rip their heads off. We're not going to get into a debate on whether foxes are vermin or not. Jesus, Lee, do not open that one. Imagine this on YouTube, all the rights people. Anyway, Lee, shut up. But the point is, let's Lee, let's use a different example, right? Lion. Craig, stop making me laugh. Lion eating a baby deer. Oh, baby deer. Horrible lion, nasty lion. That's just part of the food chain again. But again, it's how we perceive it. If that lion needs to feed his young and his family, well, that was a very good day for that lion. That's perception. For the deer, it was a very bad day, but it was just an event. Depends how you perceive it and what angle. Does that make sense? But again, it's back to this thing, it's how we view it. Is it a good day or a bad day? Is it positive or negative? It's all down to how we view it. Now, again, I'm on a little bit of a mission at the minute, and I'm gonna share this with some of you further down the line. But it's a crazy mission. It's a crazy mission, and I have something now, which I believe that I can share in time, that will give every single person in this group the opportunity to make in the region of £10,000 per month without investing a single thing, without investing a penny. All you would need to invest would be your time. Now, straight away, some people will be listening to this going, he has absolutely gone mad. But here's the reality. Not me make that money, you make that money. So what will happen as a byproduct if I helped 100 people do that? I don't think you need to answer that question. But here's the thing. It's relatively simple, and I would not share it until it's fully road tested. But the guy who I'm speaking to is 26 years old, and he makes over 100k per month. He was a fat, drunk loser by his own admissions who was eating takeaways, taking drugs and drinking booze. 26 years old. Now, whether anyone pursues this or not, this isn't a pitch, and it's not going to be something that I'm looking at for 6 or 7 months. But now we draw back to beliefs and thoughts. I guarantee you, and I'm going to road test this, some people will go, that sounds incredible. I trust you. You have the habit of following things through. I wouldn't do it if I didn't trust the person I was doing it with. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for my entire life. This is the road to true freedom. If that person's done it and Lee's done it, that is real proof that I can do it. Just like all the success stories you see in the world. But some people will go, I can't do that. I can't get early enough. That won't work for me. I'm not clever enough. I'm not anything. Instantly. And this is the power of thoughts. Whether it's fat loss, whether it's financial, whether it's freedom, whether it's friendship, whether it's relationships, whether it's going back to what we said about unconditional love and opinions of other people's and courage and fear and everything else in between. It comes down to your opinion of yourself. And who's in charge of that? Who is in charge of your opinion of yourself? Who is in charge of your thoughts? It doesn't mean we get it right all the time. But you were born good enough. You were born a miracle. To quote Molly again, told this story on previous slides, we do all have the same 24 hours in the day. Except a lot of you have a lot more than other people. A lot of the people who are not practicing gratitude have a lot more than people. They have a lot more than the people in Cambodia who are happy and grateful and singing songs all day and playing on the drums and are absolutely over the moon if they get given a football to kick around and an extra cup of rice at the end of the day. They understand gratitude. They understand joy. They understand happiness. They understand they were born good enough. They will understand life is a miracle. And this is where we go back to understanding how it worked as a kid. As a child, you loved unconditionally. You didn't start until a certain age to form opinions of certain people and then decide whether you would choose to love them or not. You didn't have a set of rules that you decided, I will give my love or receive love as long as these rules are ticked off. As I've said, that's not unconditional love. That's conditional love. And love can't be conditional. Rules are rules. So you loved everything and everyone unconditionally as a child until circumstances and people probably reprogrammed that. So if we can just get back to that in life and approach each day in that way, I love life and I love all people and I love everything in life and everything's a lesson and everything's a gift. I guarantee the place you will operate from is so different. But so many people are held back from fear. Fear they're not good enough, fear they'll fail, fear they're not clever enough, fear they'll be mocked, judged and laughed at, fear of other people's opinions, fear they won't be loved. It's the same. If you're worried about other people's opinions of you, deep down you're saying, I'm worried if I do this, they won't love me. Am I right? It's not just It's not just a random opinion. It's I'm worried about their opinion that they won't like and love me. And that will make me feel like I'm not good enough, which is all of our biggest fear. So what about, right? What about if we just start to come from a place of love, not needing love, not seeking love, not needing it to be happy? I don't need love anymore. I am love. I don't need it. I don't need it to feel happy. You are love. I am love. And it's free. Which, how ironic to be learning this now after releasing a song in lockdown that says, you give me free love. The track is called Free Love. At the time, it didn't really mean anything until I wrote this training this morning, and I was like, oh my God. Love is free, free to give out, free to receive. Smile, be positive, be energetic. Give love and everything in life without expectation, without rules, without fear. Practice gratitude every morning. Like I said, 11 years. But don't be afraid that you won't be loved by not being you. Just be you, because you are good enough. And as I've said, if you want more love, give more love. If you want more joy, give more joy. If you want more happiness, think happy thoughts. If you want more positivity, give more positivity. Don't drain and destroy your own life with your own thoughts. If you want to be present, forget what happened 6 weeks ago. It doesn't matter. It's gone. Let it go. 6 years, 6 months, 6 years. 6 days, 6 months, 6 years. So if you want all of these things, just give it and have it and own it, but not expect it in return. And likewise, if you want more depression, if you want more anxiety, if you want more stress, if you want more fear, if you want more hate, keep blaming, moaning, complaining, justifying, and living in the past. But that, my friends, is a choice. And it's all on you. I love you all. Have an amazing week. Stay unbreakable, and I'll see you Thursday morning.